What's up, floaters? It's your local bartender and better looking half of Floating Mana, Shark Bombs here, and today I'm going to be doing a video of how-tos, tips, and tricks on Rush Warrior. One of the more popular decks, one of the better decks you can play on ladder right now, but despite that, I see a lot of comments on videos, I see a lot of posts on Facebook about how people are struggling to win with this deck despite the fact that the win rates are so high. And right now I have almost 200 games played on the deck, sitting at a 68% win rate across the three different variants I've played. And so I'm not saying I'm the end-all be-all, but I think my knowledge is good enough to kind of give some pointers and help people out that are struggling to win with this deck. Before I get started, if you do like this video, make sure to like the video. If you want to catch me live, I stream at Twitch as sharkmoms_FM. That link is in the description down below. And if you would like to subscribe, we really appreciate it. Help build the channel and the community around it. But starting off, Rush Warrior is so strong because it is an aggressive deck that controls the board the most effectively out of any aggressive deck because of the rush mechanic itself. So that if you get behind on board, that's can be cleared up with one turn, and those are the huge swings or whatever. One thing that I see people doing is that they're playing the variant of the deck that has the weapons, Corsair Cash to draw the weapon, the big 5/4/4 that summons a copy of itself or whatever. That's not what makes this deck good, and so that's the reason that variant has fallen off, but people are still playing it because they see it online. It might even be the most popular variant, even though it's not the best variant. The one I'm going to be discussing today is No Hands Gamers variant or whatever, that's still playing Tint Trasher. I switched it up, and I haven't been playing it to make my Watley slightly better, but it's the most popular variant. Most people are going to be playing it, so I want to discuss that as a whole. The best cards in the deck. Crab Rider is an insane card. Crab Rider is just so good. When you coin out Parade Leader on 1 and go into Crab Rider on 2 and already have a 3/4 Crab Rider, you can win the game off of just that. Curving into Rakura, all these buffs, you can win off of just Crab Rider. Also, Watley in control matchups is super important. You have to have that card. You're going to want to see that card to get the cards up on the control matchups. And Alex Straza is super important to finish off the games or whatever quickly. You know, you finish off to get that last little bit of damage. The only problem really with Rush Warrior is sometimes you get controlled out. That should be the only matchup you're losing. Your control matchups should be your worst matchups, and the paladins that drew the nuts, that's almost unwinnable. What are you going to do? But you're too fast for Clown Druid, and you're too fast for the other aggro decks while also controlling the board. So that is the strength of the deck. The key to this deck, the strength, or what makes this deck hard compared to another deck, is the Mulligan. You have to understand what your deck wants to do against every single class. And so against Paladin, you really want the bumper cars, and you want the Playmaker even, and you want Warmaw Challenger, because you have to fight for that board back or whatever. Playmaker is good as a 4/3. That's a very key point of this deck. You can tempo out cards. If they have an empty board, don't worry about killing something with Warmaw. Put a 1/10 in play. 1/10s fight really well, especially when you have Shield of Honor. When you have bumper cards, don't wait to rush it out to build these hands or whatever. Play your threats, play aggressively, win the board back, and win the game. You always keep Gnarg. Gnarg is an instant keep in any matchup or whatever. But then when you play against control, make sure you are mulliganing for Watley. You're not going to win the game against control if you do not have Watley at some point. So you almost want to hard mulligan him. You are going to get playable cards. Everything besides Watley and the Troublemakers and Alex are playable in the early game. So if you full mulligan for Watley in control matchups, that's probably the best thing you can do, because you're going to get something else that is playable, but you need that card. It's almost the same thing for the Crab Riders. Crab Rider bumper card Warmaw into the aggro matchups. You almost want a full mulligan for those cards. Once again, not kind of Gnarg. You keep Gnarg no matter what. He's your only actual turn 1 play. Another thing that people don't do very often is won't play Parade Leader. People will hold Parade Leader to try and get value off it or whatever. You can't do that. You can't hold cards in Hearthstone right now. You have to play things. You have to into the play. So yeah, you want to high roll him and get buffs off of him and stuff like that. But even against Warlock, which has a lot of cards that deal random 3 damage or whatever, you have to play Parade Leader out on the board. You want to contest the board. You want to play threats, control the board. Another thing I see, like I played earlier today and I was playing Paladin and my opponent was playing Rush Warrior, and he decided to use a minion that was already on the board to trade off with, despite the fact that he was gaining advantage on the board anyways. You need that chip damage to go face. Your rush minions will gain you the board back. You will have a point in the game where your rush minions help you recapture control of the board. So don't use face damage unless it's taking off a severe threat. Like clear other people's crab riders, clear whatever. But he was essentially trading like a 3/3 for a 4/1 or something like that. Like, don't do that. Push the damage face. You're going to get that chip damage face. You're going to draw your Sword Eaters and your Rush minions, your other things that help capture the board. Your minions that are already on the board that are established, you want to push that damage face. You want to push that chip damage face. Don't hold charges on weapons so much. Push that damage face. You might draw into a Sword Eater that can re-equip a weapon, and you want to keep punching face or whatever. That's how the deck wins. You're going to burn these people out. You're going to get them low, and you have Alex and Troublemaker to get those last bit of the damage to finish them off. Conditioning. Conditioning is such a hard card to play in this deck. Sometimes you have to snap it off early. Like, sometimes it's good on turn 1 or 2 when you're not doing anything else, if you have a hand that's sitting at the 3s and the 5 rangers or whatever. But then evaluating when your conditioning is going off, making sure you're trading bumper car off early. A lot of times people will start their turn, have a bumper car in play, have a trade off for it or something they want to do for it, and then they'll conditioning first. You got to trade that bumper car off. You want to get those cards in hand first. Making sure you're stage diving before your conditionings or whatever. Conditioning is one of the most powerful cards in the deck. Because you can stretch it out across. I mean, imagine you have a 6-card minion hand and you conditioning on 5. Like, that's so many stats. That's plus 10/10. That's a 2-mana 10/10. Like, that's broken, but you have to be able to see those lines. You have to be, how am I hitting these cards at the right advantage? Do I want to wait another turn to conditioning? And don't just conditioning on 5 because you have a big handful of minions if you're in a position where you need to regain that board back. Okay. Control matchup are the worst matchups for the deck. I already discussed having Watley or whatever. Another thing is that you want to apply that immediate pressure early. You need to get them as low as possible because they are going to turn the corner. Same thing with Clown Druid and any Miracle Druid matchups. So coining out Parade Leader, coining out Crab Rider into next turn bumper carring, like trying to put Shield of Honor on minions, getting a big minion out there. It's super important. You just have to try and do it. Sometimes it feels like an uphill battle, but I actually think Stage Dive is a super important card to keep against control as well, or to like see against control, and you have to play it well. You want to get it online as early as possible because you want that initial burst. You need that above 3 health factor. You want a minion that has a little bit bigger of stats so that it doesn't die to all these cards out there that deal 3 health. Another big thing is playing around Hysteria. Hysteria is the bane of this deck's existence, and it's my least favorite card in the game because of it. You have to set up your boards in a way when you're playing against Priest and Warlock to play around that card. So do whatever you have to do. Think about every minion you're playing on the board, but don't hold threats too much because then you can't apply pressure. So think, how much do I lose to Warlock or Priest's Hysteria here? And is it worth it that I'm winning the game if they don't have it? If it's a game-winning play, take the risk. But keep in mind that card exists. If you're not winning the game off of it, maybe hold a minion. Maybe chill for a second. Maybe pull off the gas a little bit or whatever. Also, a lot of people are playing Athletic Studies. Do not play Athletic Studies. The reason Athletic Studies is bad is because it actually hurts your curve. You curve correctly in this deck naturally, and when you Athletic Studies, it sets up weird mana curves, right? And it's strange to think about, right? But you don't need it. You will curve better naturally not having Athletic Studies in the deck than you would otherwise. Guys, this deck is super strong. It's super powerful. is super fun. Can win games on ladder. I mean, you could. Tons of people playing this. People are hitting high legend with this. You can 100% hit legend with this. It's one of the best decks in the game. It's just about understanding your matchups, understanding how to mulligan, evaluating your card value in hand correctly, playing the threats that are of least value in later turn earlier. So bumper cars into crab riders, knowing which one you want to play. That's the main decision making. Those two cards, understanding which card to play, and just controlling the board and winning the game. There shouldn't be any matchup you can't win. You can go into any matchup with this deck with the possibility of winning based upon good decision making and good evaluation of threats. And I think if you take these tips and hints, it's possible for you to climb. If you want to talk to me in the comments about any concerns you're having or any questions you're having about it, if you want to say, oh, you're an idiot, you don't even do that play you said earlier, I'd like to hear it. And then after this, I'm going to put 2 games just showing different understanding the lines. I think both these games show make good decision making on my part and how to play the Rush Warrior deck. And I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope you guys have a great day. Shark Moms XIXIX. Man. Maybe I'm not supposed to keep Warmar. Warmar's such a good cards, right? Yeah, they have him in prison. Yeah. It is, I mean. I think I'm just supposed to mulligan all of this and try and hit, like, Bumper Car Athletic Studies, Crab Rider. I think Warmaw could have been good, but I couldn't convince myself. Yeah, like, this is a pretty good start. We're just going to go here into here. I'll play this first, I guess. This with this is awesome. Yep, we'll take a Rakura. Depending on what he plays this turn, we might just try and stick a Rakura. No, we're not going to do that. Although, it's tempting. They don't have minions on 2, but it's so tempting. Well, we're glad we did not play Rakura. Let's just, yeah, like, what are you going to do? What are they going to stop the 110 with? You can't. You can't stop the 110. Hey, hold on. If I look at my hand, look, does it look like I'm looking at my hand? It's Matthew. It's Matthew Sprinkles. I'm not sure who you are, but I'm glad. Oh my gosh, that's funny. That's funny. Oh, Pog. You know what? We're gonna go like here, and we're gonna go like. Man, do we want to? Yeah. 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 Let's armor. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty fast-paced, I would say. You should get into it, man. You'd like it. Legitimately, you would like it. It's good. It's even better when you're like high rolly as mess. Man, this is pretty good hands. Why you don't got to bring up the blood Mephiст this soon? Could have waited a couple days at least. Okay, our opponent's a jerk, but now we can go like here, here. Except they have Hysteria. This is such a bad matchup. He's got another one. Oh man, this is getting rough. Although he did just spend a lot of mana on dealing a lot of damage to a lot of little things. So maybe like this. Maybe he can't clear these. And there's a lot of them. When are you coming back to SD though, Sprinks? That's the question. Are you moving back here once you're done with deployment? Because that would be, I'm in for that. Cascade. Yeah, baby. Oh, I feel like we played that well. And he had a lot of good cards against us. I played actual World of Warcraft for like an hour total. Maybe it was slightly more, but it wasn't much more. Just wasn't that impressed with it. too grindy. Man, this is like, that sucks. Like, I hate playing this card turn 1. Because then you feel like you lose. Oh, but we're not going to lose value. Maybe we... No, you know what? We're going to do this. It makes our next turn so much stronger. Maybe we should just take this. Because, like, the reason you don't play this is because the late game is such a bad top deck, right? But if he does nothing next turn, this plus this is a much better turn than this plus this if he does nothing. Like, obviously, if he plays, like, a 1 health minion, it's less good. But I don't really know. Okay. So we were right. He did nothing. And 2 turns from now, we gonna pop off. See, now if he plays a minion, we can challenge him to Makrada or whatever this thing says. Interesting. We cannot challenge that to Makrada. Matter of fact, I think we're just gonna chill. Feels so bad to do nothing. We just can't. We just can't do nothing. Like, if he punches here. Okay. I will. I'll let her know you asked about after her. Whatever. She'll be happy to hear somebody was asking about her. Appreciate you stopping by, man. So, we are popping off. Okay. I think we're okay with that. Because, I mean, we get the clean weapon trade here. We get a nice little hit here. We can challenge this to Makrada. We can give it Divine Shield if we want. No, we just draw another Rush minion. Yeah, I think this is good. We don't want him drawing those bears, but we're going to influence him into not drawing them using a little thing called Mental Persuasion. This is what it looks like. See? He didn't draw a bear. Oh, watch. It works every time. Oh, watch. It's guaranteed. It's guaranteed. Man, that would have been a strong turn if he could have hit those. This deck's interesting. I played it in like a decent success. I played a different version of Miracles, right? But I the whole like Ticketmaster plus Mancrick making Swindle like even better. I like that idea, but I personally haven't had huge success with it, so I don't continue to play it. But that's not necessarily to say that it's not good. Wow. That was a weak turn from our opponent. You got to feel like you're losing this game if you're our opponent after that. That's pretty good. We're down to play that, play this, try and kill him. Hold on the weapon because we don't have another source of a weapon yet. Now, if we have another source of a weapon, we go ahead and punch here because we're possibly increasing our damage over the following turns. It is quiet, too quiet. I mean, that's cool and all. Like, not to take it away from that, this is a strong card. You're going to freeze it? It doesn't even kill it, my guy. True. Okay. This is a big rush minion. You know what? We want to kill this. We want to like kill the board of everything, right? So we're going to take that so that we value trade this up. We don't mind taking a little damage. It's very unlikely he does 19 to us, especially with Pinflinger gone. It's almost impossible. Interesting. That's an activator for it. Sure. You trying to draw more bears? Yep. You gotta have another one, yeah. I was about to say. There's no way he was leaving this up. That's pretty brutal. That's really brutal. Wow. Strong turn. Okay. And maybe it was possible that just playing this was the right play. I don't know. We're still like, he's still having to clear everything we do every single turn. We're like not giving an option to just leave things on board or whatever, but these things happen. Oh man. Oh man. Got a very funny message. Guy said, he said, if you get famous, will you take care of me? Okay. Pog. He's got Divine Shield on his guys now. We can't take that away from them. They definitively have Divine Shield on them. That's not lethal, but it's pretty good still. It gives us most likely lethal next turn, and we can just clear off because it's very unlikely that we're dead. It sucks if we have one more mana, it's lethal. So he has to either kill us or gain a bunch of life, and both of those are very unlikely. We are at essentially 13, 14. We're at 14, and the fact that that went to a minion immediately means we're relaxing. Looks like another win. Yeah, you want to be closer to 1. So our opponent is a higher rank than us in Legend. Oh, he's killing things though. Hey, he gained life. It's pretty sweet. It wasn't enough life, but it was life. Wow. I like that. I don't think I've ever seen that mode, and that could have been relevant. Like if that was a 5-drop and it got deal 3 damage and gave him 6 life, still wasn't enough, but maybe it could be in a different game.